Good morning everyone. Myself Anubhuti Saxena. I am your science teacher. Today I am going to teach you chapter 9, Light. In this chapter we will discuss about light. So let's start the chapter. Let's warm up. Given below are pictures of some objects. Tick, write the ones that are sources of light. You are seeing so many pictures here, and which pictures are sources of light, you have to tick them right. First is book. So this is not a source of light, so you will cross it. Second picture is of sun. This is sources of light. So we will tick them correct. Next is a moon. This is cross. This is not the source of light because moon take the light from the sun. It has not his own light. Next picture is a bulb. This is also a source of light. So this is also tick correct. Next picture, a keychain. So this is not a source of light. Cross it. Next is a candle. Again, this is a source of light. When we are sitting in a dark room, we lit the candle and we get the light. So this is a source of light. So we will correct it also. Now, start the chapter. We see many things around us in the classroom. We also see many things on our way to school. At night, if it is completely dark, will we be able to see things around us? If you enter a dark room at night, will you be able to see the things in the room? So your answer will be no. When we are entering in a dark room, it means there is no light and we are coming in a dark room. We are not able to see anything. When we switch on the plug, we are getting the light and we are able to see the things whatever is kept in the room. Same when we in the morning or when we are having the light, so we are able to see all the things which are coming in our room, which are coming in our way, which are around us. We can easily see them. So light is very important to see the things. This clearly explains that light helps us to see objects. How it is possible? When light falls from an object, the object reflects that light and the reflected light reaches our eyes and we see the objects. This is the way by which we can able to see the things. How? When light is coming from any source and it falls on an object, then that object reflects that light and the reflected light reaches to our eyes and we are able to see all the things. Here you are seeing a picture in which the source of light is sun. Sun is here and the rays are means light is coming from the sun and it is falling on the object, a book, and the object means the book reflects the light and the light comes to our eyes and we can see this book easily. We can see the object means we can see the book easily. So reflection is the bouncing back of light after it strikes an object. means when a light falls on any object, the object reflects the light and these rays reaches to our eyes and we are able to see the object. Clear? So, reflection is the bouncing back of light, means it sends the light back. It reflects the light back. Reflection is the bouncing back of light after it strikes an object. Next is sources of light. Sources of light are of two types. First is natural source of light. These are sources of light given to us by nature. Which sources we are getting from the nature, that is called natural sources of light. For example, sun, stars, etc. means sun is the source of light and stars is also having the light, so these are also sources of light. Second is man-made sources of light. Man-made sources means these are the artificial sources of light that are made by man. Example, tube light, torch, electric bulb, candle flame, torch, etc. means tube light, torch, electric bulb. These all the sources of light are made by the human beings, made by the man. So these are the artificial sources of light, or you can say man-made sources of light. Next, we have to learn the moon has no light of its own. It shines because it reflects the sun's light. Okay, moon is having no light, means its own light. It is having the light which is given by the sun or which is reflected by the sun and reaches to the moon, and moon becomes the source of light. Next is luminous and non-luminous objects. Luminous objects give out their own light. They are a source of light. For example, sun, electric bulb, etc. These are two examples of luminous objects which give out their own light. When we switch on the plug, the bulb blows and we get the light. They are having their own light. Next is non-luminous object. Objects do not have their own light are called non-luminous objects. These reflects light and that falls on them. These reflects the light that falls on them. They are not having their own light. For example, moon, chair, tree, many things we can write. Those are not having their own light. Blow your mind, a question is given. Name a living thing that gives out its own light. You have to give the answer. Name a living thing that gives out its own light. This is glowworm. Glowworm, it is having its own light. This is a living thing. Next point is properties of light. Light is having many qualities, many properties. We will discuss one by one. First is light travels in a straight line. If you close the door of a room and draw the curtains and allow sunlight to enter from a teeny point like a slit in the door, you will see a straight beam of sunlight entering the room. Okay, we close the door of a room and draw the curtains and we put some space like this that only some part of the sunlight is entering in the room. So when we will see a straight beam of sunlight is entering the room, means the light is coming in a straight line, means light travels in a straight line. This property of light to travel in a straight line is called rectilinear propagation of light. This property of light to travel in a straight line is called rectilinear propagation of light. And the path of light is represented by a straight line with an arrow head. If we are showing the light is coming, light is going in a straight line, so we will draw with a straight line with arrow head. Now, one activity. Take a rubber tube of about 30 cm long, light a candle and place it on a table. See through the tube at the candle flame. It is visible? Yes. Next, bend the tube a little. In the second picture it is done. Next, bend the tube a little. Now try looking at the candle flame. It is not visible. This shows that light travels in a straight line. Clear? And light travels with a speed of 3 lakh km per second. You have to learn this. Light travels with a speed of 3 lakh km per second. Means in 1 second, it travels with the speed of 3 lakh km. It covers the distance 3 lakh km. Next, light is a form of energy which enables us to see objects around us. It is the fastest traveling energy. It is the fastest traveling energy. Light is a clearly made up of 7 different colors which combine to form the white light. Light is a clearly made up of 7 different colors which combine to form the white light. This is the properties. Now, the kinds of objects. Objects can be grouped into 3 kinds depending on whether we can see through them and how much light can pass through them. Next is opaque objects. Opaque objects are those objects which do not allow any light to pass through them. We cannot see through them at all. Example, rubber, brick ball, book and a book, etc. So this is very simple. In those objects which do not allow the lights to pass through them are called the opaque objects. For example, ball, book, rubber, these. Next is translucent objects. Translucent objects are those objects that allow some light to pass through them. They allow some light to pass through them. A very little. We can see partially through them. Example, butter paper, ground glass, honey, etc. These are the examples of translucent objects. Next is transparent objects. Transparent objects are those objects through which light can pass totally. We can see through them clearly. Example, water, air, glass, etc. We can see through them clearly. These are the examples of transparent objects. Now, take a plain paper, rub some oil on it, look at a lighted bulb through it. You can see the bulb partially because the paper becomes translucent on rubbing oil on it. Next topic is shadow. A shadow is the darkness that an opaque object causes. when it blocks the path of light falling on it. As we know that light travels in a straight line, light falls on any object. So, what is the shadow? A shadow is the darkness that an opaque object causes when it blocks, any object blocks the path of light falling on it. A shadow of an object is formed on another opaque surface which is called a screen. A shadow is formed only when light is blocked by an opaque object. A shadow is formed only when light is blocked by an opaque object. A shadow is always black in color. It does not show the color of the object. Always it shows black color. A shadow only gives the shape of the object and does not give any details of the object. Only gives the shape, not the details of the object. Next, the size of a shadow is relative to the position of the light source with respect to the object. The size of a shadow is depend on the position of the light source with respect to the object, how much far is kept. Okay, this stand in a front of a blank wall means screen in a dark room. Ask a friend to shine light from a torch. Torch is sources of light. On you means you are the object. You will see your shadow formed on the black wall. Same thing you can see when you are walking in afternoon. The sunshine is coming on your head. You are seeing your shadow is there. Same. You will see your shadow formed on the blank wall. The shadow is formed because light from the torch is not able to pass through your body. It is not able to pass through your body, so shadow is becoming. You can create shadows of animals with your hands also. Try making animal shadow using your hands as shown below. As you know, when the light goes, or when the light, we are sitting in a dark room and we are lit a candle, and sometimes children play with the hands, and they are making the different types of animals shape and shadow, and the shadow is coming on the wall or screen, so they feel good to see this type of game they play. So this try making animal shadow using hands as shown below, then you can understand the shadow easily. Now the quick recall. Reflection is the bouncing back of light after it strikes on an object. Sun and stars are the natural sources of light. Electric bulb and torch lights are artificial sources of light. Sun and star are natural sources of light. Electric bulb and torch are the artificial sources of light, or you can say man-made sources of light. Luminous objects have their own light, whereas the non-luminous objects do not have their own light. Properties of light. Light travels in a straight line. It is a form of energy that enables us to see the objects around us. Objects can be grouped as opaque, transparent and translucent depending on how much light they allow to pass through them. A shadow is formed when an opaque object blocks the path of light. Shadows are always black in color and give no details of the objects. For a shadow to be formed, a screen is essential. And the new words are reflection, the bouncing back of light on striking an opaque object. Luminous objects are objects that has its own light. Non-luminous objects, object that does not have its own light. Rectilinear propagation of light, the property of light to travel in a straight line. Transparent objects are objects that allow light to pass through them totally. Opaque objects, objects that do not allow light to pass through them at all. and shadow, a darkness that an opaque object causes when it blocks the path of light. So the chapter is completed. Thank you everyone. Read the chapter carefully and learn the new words also. Exercises and question answers of this chapter we will do in part 2. Thank you everyone.